Welcome back, guys, to yet another World of Warcraft video for the War Within. Today we are going to talk about yet another one of the shuffling opportunities that you guys have an opportunity to do in the War Within. Today we're going to be talking about unraveling in tailoring, but before we do get into it, make sure that you guys drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel with all the notifications on, because then you won't miss any future videos, and it's also greatly appreciated and does a bunch of good things for the channel. And make sure that you check out Gold Cap down in the comments below, or actually in the description below. And if you're interested in a little bit of some, gold making guides, cool gold making community, premium channels in the Discord and things like that, make sure you check that out. And if you're interested, use Sansful for 10% off. That's the code. Thank you very much, guys. Let's get straight into the video here. So what I'm talking about today is a little bit of unraveling. Unraveling is basically a system in tailoring where you take raw cloth and you turn it into spools of thread, right? And there are three versions that you can do this with. We have Duskweave, we have Dawnweave, and then we have the regular Weavercloth. These will all turn into their own respective spools. So you can see here spools of Dawn thread, spool of Dusk thread, and spool of Weaver thread. Now the values between them are a little bit different. As you can see in front of your screen here, I'm currently unraveling some Weavercloth. Now, the averages and the math for some I'll talk about in a little bit, but to go over why this is something that you should be interested in doing is because, number one, this is something that takes time, and it requires a little bit of an understanding of how a market like this is put together. But just in itself, because it requires time and a little bit of skill in your profession, this is something that will most of the time be a profitable venture. Now, if you want this to be maxed out, the highest potential in the profession, and obviously you want to level your tailoring to 100, you want to have the best possible skills or tools you can have, and also for resourcefulness, the only thing that's really important is resourcefulness. Technically also crafting speed, but most of the time resourcefulness is better than crafting speed. Now, if we're talking about your knowledge points that you have to put into this profession for this build, we are going, actually, you only need about realistically, you only actually need quality fabrics unlocked, because at that point you learn your first sub-spec, and this will be weaving and unraveling. This is the only one that kind of fully impacts weaving, well, unraveling in particular. Weaving is also for bolt crafting, so if you eventually want to get into that, this is the same one. So I would go into quality fabrics and get 30 points into weaving and unraveling. Now, if you want to do a perfected build to maximize the amount of resourcefulness that you can get out of unraveling, which is not something that I've done on this character because it's, it's not a huge portion of where the profit is. You can easily make gold on this without that being the case. But then you would go into here, and immediately when you learn textile treasures, you unlock a sub-spec, and that would be extra threads. Now here, this is whenever you're making cloth goods, this will increase your resourcefulness. So this is just overall, this is more resourcefulness. So this is where we go as a secondary thing. Now, quality fabrics, this is, plus skill when you're crafting specialty items and reagents. So if you want to go for the higher skill, then that's where you want to be. But again, in this case, I'm actually only talking about rank 1s and 2s, because if you want to be able to make the rank 3s, not only do you need to be using rank 3 raw cloth, but you also need 3 pieces of blue profession gear. So unless you've shuffled your way to that, or you've prioritized that, or you've done a very specific build, that's going to be very hard to do. Even then, there's still a lot of gold to be had in the rank 1s and 2s, okay? So the way that this works, now you've seen about 1,000 unravels in front of your eyes with this Weavercloth, and you can see by the ones that we have up here, we have about 3,087, okay? This is possible if you have the severed satchel. In tailoring, you have the option to make a profession bag that says increases the maximum yield of Castle unraveling by 1. This doesn't make that much of a difference for a spool of Weaver thread. This is only 1 point, and when we're already 3xing the amount of cloth we actually use to get the spools, this isn't going to make that much of a difference. But the way that you would do it, you would take, you would basically say, okay, well, Weavercloth, this is 5 pieces of Weavercloth, and that turns into 15, give or take, spools of Weaver thread, right? So when you're on the auction house, or if you're trying to decide whether or not this is worth it, you can say, okay, what's the price of 5 Weavercloth? We can just say, most recently I've purchased these for 34 gold. We're going to say 34 times 5, which is 170, and these lovely spools of weaving thread, the rank 2s, are about 15 gold. So if we take 15, right, and then we say 15 times what was it, 15 gold, right? That's 225 gold. So it's a 170 crafting cost at the moment to a total sell price of 225. So there is a, what is it, 55 gold profit for 5 pieces of cloth at the moment. So that's pretty good. This is just a regular rank 2 spool of weaving thread. Really, really easy to get, nothing too crazy. This isn't huge amounts of profit. And if you have a regular build with about this crafting speed that I use, if you use maybe a quality 1 crafting speed file, you can expect to get about 1800 to 2000 unravels per hour. That's about, give or take, what you can do. So realistically, if you can do, we'll just say 1800, right? 1800 unravels. If 5 pieces of cloth will be able to make you, with these prices that I just talked about, if that's going to be able to make you 55 gold per 5 pieces of cloth, right? 1800 unravels. I know this is a lot of math, but we like talking about it like this. 1800 unravels is 9,000 pieces of cloth, right? So you could say that 9,000 divided by 5, right, is 1,800. So if you take 1,800, as we said, the amount of unravels, and you times that by 55, which is the gold difference. Obviously, there's an auction house cut, but still, if we just times that by 55, we'll say, that is 99,000 gold. So with the auction house cut, even if we remove 20k, that's looking at about 80,000 gold per hour. And unraveling is really, really easy to do, right? Because, you know, you're just sitting here in AFK crafting. There's nothing much to it. So you can, you know, craft these. You can set 200 to work. Then you can look at something else and then come back and set another 200 to go. And then that's pretty good, right? So if you're looking at Weavercloth, then you can expect about a 3x compared to how much Weavercloth that you put in. So 5 Weavercloth turns into 15 spools of weaver thread. Now for a Dawnweave and Duskweave, these are a little bit different, but they are similar to both of them. They both have the same values. So 5 pieces of Duskweave, I'll just show you here. 5 pieces of Duskweave or Dawnweave turns into, on average, at least 4.5 pieces of spool of dusk thread or spool of dawn thread. This is only possible if you have the severed satchel, because you can see the amount of spools that we get are way lower for these higher quality of raw cloth. So this bag, if you want to do these, you absolutely need the severed satchel, okay? That is a must, because otherwise you will lose out on a whole spool. It's more like, here's the thing, right? You can see that it's a minimum of 3, and then it's a maximum of 6. So 3 to 6, it turns out to an average of about 4.5 from my testing, but we wouldn't be able to get 6 at all if we didn't have the severed satchel. So our averages would be lower. I'm not exactly sure exactly how much lower that average is, but there is no reason why you would be doing this if you're not mass crafting it with the severed satchel. So that's what I'm saying. But if you wanted to figure out how much this is worth, right? You take the purchase price, which is about, what, 30 gold. That's how much I purchased it for. We'll say 30 times 5 is about 150 gold. If we look at the spools of dusk red, currently they are posted for 40 gold on the auction house. So you can say 4.5. It's actually closer to like 4.65 or 4.7. But if you do 4.5, then it's a little easier to consider something like that. So if it's about 4.5 that we're looking at on average from the spools of dusk thread, then you could say, okay, well, 4.5 times your 40 gold, which is 180 gold. Okay. that is only a 30 gold difference. So on that front, there's not much of a difference. But these prices fluctuate all the time, so paying attention to your purchase prices and your selling prices is super important. If we were to look at something like the Dawnweave here and the Spools, you can actually see these are selling for 45 gold. So that would be a 4.5 times, what, 45 gold. Then all of a sudden, we're back up to a 50 gold profit. So looking at all three of these options, Weavercloth, Dawnweave, and Duskweave, you can kind of try and figure out which one is most worth it to you. Remember, whenever you invest into these markets, these prices can fluctuate a lot. So make sure that you don't overinvest, because it takes a while to process it, right? As I just talked about, you can do anywhere from like 1,800 to 2,000 unravels an hour. So what that means is you could go between, you can unravel 9,000 to 10,000 pieces of cloth in about an hour, right? So you can go through quite a lot of materials, but you actually also have to, you know, continuously post and sell these. So, you know, just be careful, don't invest too much, and make sure that you consider everything. And again, just as a reminder, you need your resourcefulness tools to make sure that this is possible, right? And then you want the best possible crafted gear that you can get your hands on, because why not? But the only thing that impacts on unraveling is your resourcefulness, and then obviously skill for the ranks. But the higher amount of crafting speed that you can get, the better, for obvious reasons. And then make sure that you get your severed satchel. If you guys have any questions about this, make sure that you drop that down in the comments below. I will also be posting in the pinned comment the averages for what you need, like the calculations for each cloth, so you guys can, you know, put it into your own spreadsheets or put it into your own notes. But I hope this made sense. As for the gold per hour, I can't really tell you guys. I don't really want to put that in a video, because it's hard to, you know, work with averages like a gold per hour, because it depends on your build, setup, price values on the auction house, all of this stuff. So just keep in mind that this is a very profitable venture, okay? That you can make a lot of gold from not doing, like, this is very AFK crafting. It's not like disenchanting where you have to actively participate. You can actually set 200 unravels, go and do something else, and then come back to it. So this is a great market. Make sure you don't miss out, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy the video, again, make sure that you drop a like on the video, but also type a comment down below, and we're gonna pick a word. Apple juice. I had an apple juice this morning, and for anyone that knows what this language is, you can tell where this is from. But type apple juice down in the comments below if you watched to this point in the video. And yeah, either way, I appreciate you guys, and also make sure to check out the Twitch streams, because we're streaming almost daily right now. We've been live every single day since the launch came out for the War Within, so make sure that you check out the streams and see if I'm live whenever you see this video. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.